Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to use the iron worker, and this is just a refresher because most of you have used this before, and so I want to go over the safety features of this machine and how to turn it on, how to cut safely with it, and how to use it uh, efficiently and safely. Um, Here we have our control switches. We want to make sure that our selector is set on iron worker. This is our emergency kill switch. This is a twist lock so that we have to twist it, as you see there, before the machine will turn on. This is our push to start, this green button right here. You really can't see it because of the tables in the way, but there's a green button right here that will activate the machine. This red knob right here is our lockout. Uh, right here, if you look inside, it will say on, but if it's turned up this way, it will say off. And there's also a place right here that we can put our lockout tag out. Also, if it's turned up parallel with the machine will not engage. But when it's turned this way to where it's horizontal, the machine will engage. And again, that's our on and off switch. Okay. This is the shear side that we will be using to shear our metal. And this machine has several other functions for punching holes, notching metal, cutting angle iron, shearing metal, angle iron, and things such as that. Okay. But for our purposes, what we'll be using for our class will be this part right here, where we'll be sharing our flat bar for our weldments. Okay. Um, Up here on top, the only things that need to be up here will be measuring tape and pieces of chalk. There will always be a couple of small pieces of chalk. You don't need big chunks of chalk, just a couple of small pieces. And I usually keep a level up here to make sure that uh, my my flat bar is level so that I'm getting a nice straight cut. We do not want to cut any piece of metal that is welded here. If we need to cut any metal that is welded, we will do that over on the cutting table. And I will show you that in another video. So when we're making our cut, we'll get our flat bar, we'll pull it over to here, and we'll bring it along. We've got a nice stand right here that'll hold it straight for us. This is our dead man foot switch that will operate the shear. This is our shear right here that goes up and down, that will actually shear the metal at the length that we desire. Once we have everything set up, and you need to learn to operate the machine from this side, and I'm going to show you why. When you engage the machine, if something happens and your hands are in a way that you cannot turn the machine off, if you are right here, you can use your knee to disengage the machine just by hitting it with your knee. If you are on the opposite side of the machine, then you cannot use your knee to disengage the machine. But if you're on this side and something happens, God forbid you somehow get your hands or your fingers in here and you can't get them out, you can hit that. And once you hit that, that shear is going to go automatically to the neutral position, right? And again, Mr. Clark's rules are in this shop. When anybody is operating any power equipment, nobody can be within arm's reach of where they are. Okay? So you're going to bring your piece of metal in. Okay? You're going to, before you run it up underneath your keeper here, you're going to run your shear all the way down until it stops. Then you're going to push your metal up until it bumps against that shear, and you'll feel it stop. Then you're going to take your tape measure and you're going to measure the length of the piece of metal that you want to cut. And most of our weldments are, love it when the tape measure falls, most of our weldments are going to be at 6 inches. And so you're going to make a mark at 6 inches. Okay. Then you're going to release the shear. When it stops, you're going to slide your metal until that mark is right up against your guard here, and you want to make sure that it is flush against your straight edge here. And secure that down so it doesn't whip up and hit you. And then go ahead and shear your piece of metal, and then go ahead and measure for your next cut. And we'll cut it through and we'll shear our next one. And because I'm setting up for a weldment, I'm going to go ahead and measure the next one. And again, I'm running that mark right to the edge of this red bar that's right there. And again, keeping it straight on my straight edge. And because my weldment that I'm going to be working on now requires one piece that's 9 inch, I'm measuring 9 inches from here, and I'm going to push this one through. And it might be a little tight because I've got 3 pieces of metal in there already. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut it off, come get these pieces of metal out of the way. And then I'll turn it back on, set it on that 9 inch mark. And then once you are done, we're going to take this metal, we're going to put it back on these rollers that are out of the way. We're going to move this stand out of the way. And then we're free to get our metal on the back end of our shear. And again, keeping this walkway clear. And you will see there that I've got 3 pieces of metal. That are pretty close to 6 inches within tolerance. And that is how we'll use the iron worker. And please make sure that we don't put any scrap metal up here on top. We want to keep this top area clear of anything, again, except tape measures. chalk, and then again my level in case we need it. There should be nothing else on this shear at all. Okay? Any questions? We'll talk about it when I see you in class.